All right, we're going to start with the nation. Governors NFIU on collision course over the cash withdrawal. Federal government borrowed 3.17 trillion naira in 3 months. Cholera infected 922, killed 32 in 9 weeks, says NCDC. China loans to Africa is transparent. Investors made 1.6 trillion naira gains in Q1. 25-year-old South African wins Big Brother Titan $100,000. Pope Francis urges all to unite, pray for peace. Okay, which story are we starting with?
We are approaching June, which we know is the deadline for the total removal of the fuel subsidy. So manufacturers and other members of the organized private sector, OPS, are advising the federal government to put measures in place before this subsidy is finally removed. They said they are all on the same page concerning the subsidy. They want it to be removed, but the federal government must make known strategies that they want to put in place first before they remove it, so that they don't, put the burden on poor Nigerians who are already suffering inflation. They don't have the purchasing power to go around their business. So an economist and founder of the Center for Promotion of Private Enterprise, Muda Yusuf, put the sum that the government could unlock the fiscal cycle from subsidy removal at about 7 trillion. And, the stakeholders, that's the Director General of Manufacturers Association of Nigeria, MAN, Shegu Ajayi Kadir, Nigeria Employers Consultative Association, Adewale Smart Onyerinde, and the President, Lagos Chambers of Commerce and Industry, Michael Olawale Cole, all advise that governments must redirect funds from subsidy payments to productive sectors of the economy so that they are able to do something with it, and also asking that the outgoing government must fix the refineries. You can't just take out the subsidy and leave the refineries like that. That will bring more hardship on people. So they broke this down, how they want government to tackle the issues of refineries before we remove the subsidy, or make plans on how they can use.
That's for the new government.
Yes. Okay, but they are saying that the old government should do that. I don't know the time frame that they have for it. And also, they must cut down the excesses that happens within the oil sector. That's also one of the ways that we can get more funds and ease people into removal of subsidy. Or else stuff go bad.
I wanted to take major headline.
Major headline.
The governors, this one that we have been asking since, and the Nigerian Financial Intelligence Unit, NFIU, are at loggerheads right now. Some of us have been wondering how the governor spent his security votes.
Yes.
And so NFIU have a deadline by March 1st where no more cash withdrawals will be done from any account, including public accounts, especially public accounts. And so the governors were like, So they called a meeting for January where they would, decide and, banter on what to do going forward. And they want to draft the anti-graft agencies, the CBN, the FIRS into it on how to better manage their security votes. And that's supposed to be for tomorrow. But the NFIU says their March 1st deadline still stands, and it becomes, it becomes a criminal action on which anybody can be prosecuted if some withdrawals are done by cash. That the governors can spend the security vote, no problem. But it must be traceable. It must be via.
What you're spending.
Yes,
and that's part of the foundational restructuring we need, where we can actually trade, once we can follow the money anyway. It reduces corruption.
Yes, it does.
One of the major tools people say, governors are doing that corrupt because of the security votes. Okay, let us be transparent on how we do spend it, so that at least Nigerians can begin to trust the system.
Because these governors have immunity, I'm pitying the banks. That's because they will catch everybody.
Yeah,
Let's take another story.
Yeah, so this story is quite short. I thought it was longer than this, but I didn't find any other part. It says China loans to Africa transparent. So China yesterday allayed fears of the transparency of the terms of its loans to Africa. They said they were responding to a claim that was made by the World Bank President David Malpass. He had expressed concern about some of the loans that China had been lending to developing countries and developing economies like ours. I mean, in Africa, we've heard all sorts of, stories.
Right.
We have questioned it as well. We're asking, what are they going to take from us? They've said to us that the loans that they give, the loans that are done are given within international rules, and they are transparent, and that's it. Right. That's all they said.
Let me take the news from the Nigeria Center for Disease Control, saying that no fewer than 922 persons have been infected with cholera, while 32 have passed on. The breakdown of the state is Cross River has 647 of the 922. Ebonyi has 97, Abia has 72, Niger State has 38, Zamfara 28, Bayelsa 16, Ondo 10, and Sokoto 3. And of that, the deaths of this is Cross River has 16 deaths, Ebonyi has 6 deaths, Abia 6, Bayelsa 1, Zamfara 1. Now this is quite cause for concern because the National Multisectoral Cholera have continued to monitor the disease, and they're asking that as of March 5th, these figures could increase in the coming weeks. So of the suspected cases since the beginning of the year, the group has said the group affected have been 45 years and above, and mostly, no, actually it's 45 years in the most affected for male and female. Of all the suspected cases, 54% are male, while 46% are females. And these states that I mentioned earlier are where the cholera deaths have been prevalent, and we're asking that the CDC, NCDC is asking that they should take more precaution going forward. Moving on now to the Punch. Buhari or Shimbajo 28 governors, ministers to begin asset declaration. Pope Kaigama preach love service as Christians observe Palm Sunday. 22-year-old Ogun lady found dead in room, boyfriend held. Ramadan, why the aged may abstain from fasting. Tanker fire worsens Lagos-Ibadan expressway gridlock. Nigeria Forex suspends Sterling Bank share trading. And AFG to demolish Lagos Airport jet hangars. Okay, which story are we starting?
I'll take the picture story. So as we know, it's been the Lent period, and Catholics and other Christians have been fasting, and we know we're getting to the end of the Lent. So yesterday, Sunday, was Palm Sunday, and the Pope, as we know, he's the head of the Catholic Church, and that's Pope Francis, has called on Christians to show love and care, especially to those who are currently experiencing extreme suffering and solitude. And here in Nigeria, we had Reverend Ignatius Kaigama, who urged political office holders to embrace the life of modesty. He said that there's this flamboyance and display of wealth that our politicians of today have embraced, and they should be more like Jesus. He talked about how Jesus got on the donkey and walked through Jerusalem. He said even though Christ is God, he rode on the lowliest of animals, and so he's asking that politicians should be careful with the way we use up resources. They use up resources. It says a lot of money goes into politics and politicking, that many people are willing to do everything, kind or unkind, good and bad, to get into political office.
Okay, so I wanted to take the fasting instruction from the chief imam of the neuropsychiatric hospital, Aru, Mustaz Alaron. And I wanted to take it because just on Saturday, this argument came up with a family member. So the Quranic verse is that, and for those who can fast only with difficulty, they are to feed a poor person. And I had said it to a family member, and he said, no, they've been exempted, and that's what God says. Once you're elderly, you're sick, you're exempted. I said, but you pay a recompense, which is feeding a sick person. I remember when I was pregnant with my son, I couldn't fast, and I thought paying me back would be huge. So I fed a person daily. So we needed to do it for an elderly person. And he said, no, she's exempted, she doesn't have to pay the recompense. Just for the
good clarity. Thanks for staying with us. So it's going to take...
I have a story there, yeah. Family members of the 22-year-old former student of Moshood Abiola Polytechnic, Abeokuta, Kabirat Sobola, who was allegedly stabbed to death in Ogun State capital, are currently demanding justice. So according to the story, they said she was in her room. She was stabbed in her room.
Wow.
And there was a knife that was beside her and her phone. She had slits. We don't know if she's the one that did it, but it happened that her throat was slit, and then her body as well. And so the boyfriend went to the police station to report, to say that she was missing. And so by the time he was at the counter making a report and asking to be helped to find the missing girlfriend, the DPO saw him and asked him, what time is it? When is this person missing? And he said it's not up to 24 hours yet. And so they detained him, till the next day. And when the girl's parents came to the police station, they had to go back to the house, then broke open the door and saw that this girl was already murdered. So one of the aunties who was saying that she still does not understand why they are detaining this boyfriend, because they had found that he was not involved. The police reported and said that the way he came to the police station to report the case quickly, it was suspicious, and so they are investigating the matter to see how he's linked to everything.
So I have a news from the Minister of Aviation, Senator Hadi Sirika, was saying yesterday that federal government will, in the next 1 or 2 weeks, begin the demolition of the multi-billion naira private jet hangars located at the Murtala Mohammed Airport. According to them, the hangars were obstructing the efficient use of the International Wing Airport, and there was a need for them to demolish them to pave way for the expansion plan for the Murtala Mohammed Airport. So the 2 hangars, Dominion and Evergreen, would have to go and give way for airport to become more efficient. They are not operating the Lagos. They are not operating the Lagos airport at full capacity, and now they have to really expand. So that's. I mean, I hope that would not affect some private owners of the hangars, but definitely that's good news for the expansion for the Lagos airport. Moving on now to Daily Sun. Governors, EFCC, CBN to meet over security votes. Efforts to discredit Obi will fail woefully, campaign organization tells APC. Buhari hails Anthony Joshua's victory over Jermaine Franklin. IPOB flays clean of members in Abia. FCTA repatriates 217 destitute beggars to Katsina, Kano, Abia, Imo, Delta, and others. How to win war against corruption policy groups. Senate President APC groups say Kalu is the most qualified, and Ohaneze MBF AYCF warn on interim government. Okay, which story are we starting with in Daily Sun?
The FCTA story. So, according to the Director, Department of Social Welfare Services, Social Development Secretariat of the FCTA, Sani Amar Rabe, he said in an interview that, the Federal Capital Territory has repatriated 217 destitute, beggars, and vagabonds evacuated in the FCT to their various states. And this was why I found the story interesting, because we have a precedent that the world shook for. He said that they have a law in the FCT. I'm trying to get the law again that permits the FCT to do this in accordance with their law to repatriate what they consider. They said these destitute they consider them nuisances. He said, let me quote him, he said the repatriation was in compliance with the order of the FCT Minister of State, Ramatu Aliyu, and the Permanent Secretary FCTA, Olushade Adeshola, who instructed the department to rid the city of human and environmental nuisances. When Governor Fashola tried this in Lagos, the heaven did not heal. Heaven follow.
Heaven may see for him.
Did not fall. They have gone.
Okay. You want to take another story in Daily Sun? I had a story. So our president has celebrated the victory of the Nigerian-born boxer Anthony Joshua over Jermaine Franklin. Many watched that match. Commended triumph over the gifted pugilist over a formidable opponent. According to him, Anthony Joshua extolled the mentality of a great warrior who did not allow personal setbacks and obstacles to dent his resilient spirit. According to the president, work, patience, dedication, and persistence obviously always wins the day. Also, the president-elect also tweeted saying that, congratulations, champ, Anthony Joshua, determination and perseverance always pays off. Nigeria is proud of you. I didn't watch the match, but I heard so much about the match that he was actually, he dominated. It happened at the O2 Arena in the UK. He dominated the match according to comments, and also it was a unanimous decision against America's Jermaine Franklin in London. So congratulations again to Anthony Joshua. Moving on quickly now to Vanguard. Governors meet with EFCC, ICPC, FIRS, CBN on security votes. Constitution amendment, Lagos, Akwa Ibom, Rivers, others, $10 billion power sector investment, says investigation. Why I didn't join the military, says Adeboye. Leaked audio, I never campaigned for any politician, says Oyedipo. Bandits kill 12, abduct 26 in Niger, Katsina. Ondo court sentences 17 terrorists to 5 years in prison. 10th National Assembly leadership. Power blocks strategize await Tinubu's return. APC's propaganda can't stop pursuit of our mandate, says Obi. Okay, which story are we starting with?
Bandits yesterday killed 7 persons and abducted 26 others from 7 communities in Mashegu local government area of Niger State. Also in Katsina, terrorists in long kaftans called the Jalabia raided the Beribari community this weekend, killing 5 peasants, and there were quite a number of locals who are receiving treatments at the hospitals following sustained injuries during the attack. And also another development, troops and special forces of the Nigerian army neutralized 11 bandits in a fierce battle which took place during fighting patrols in Benungwari local government area of Kaduna State. In Niger State, Chairman of Mashegu Council, Umar Igede, confirmed the attacks on the 7 communities in Mina yesterday, said the attacks have forced residents to flee from their homes. According to him, he said bandits have killed hundreds of residents between January and March 2023, and they're already causing people to leave their homes because of the incessant attacks. In the last 2 weeks, terrorists have unleashed terror on Kulho, Sahon, Rami, and Tashan Hajiya, among other communities. And most of the communities affected have deserted their homes and going to the internally displaced persons camp in Kontagora and other places for their safety. And so he's calling on the state government and other relevant security agencies to come to their aid and bring an end to the terrorist attacks that's happening all around.
Follow up with the Ondo story where 17 terrorists were over the weekend sentenced to prison. And this happened that they were arrested on November 4, 2021, where all 17 of them were in possession of illegal possession of firearms. They tried to overrun an Amotekun call when they tried to arrest them, and also further criminal activities. And they were arraigned for 3 count charges, and they were found guilty for 2 of those count charges. They were sentenced to 5 years imprisonment altogether, and 2 others to another 4 years imprisonment by the Ondo State magistrate court in Ondo State, which is what we should be seeing. So I hope that the arrest will be done in Niger State case and all the cases you took. Amen. And then we'll see prosecution and imprisonment.
Yeah, so in continuation of the work that the military and police and security agencies are doing, the General Overseer, the GO of RCCG, he said that during the Thanksgiving service on Sunday, and the theme for the service was called Vessels Unto Honor. And he was talking about the sacrifice that our military, our police, our paramilitary, and other security agencies make for our country and for the safety of the citizenry. He said he would have loved to have joined the military, but his mom said, "You're my only son. I don't care what you do after I'm dead. So wait until after I'm dead." He said at that time it was in the 1960s and she passed on in 1990. So by then it was too late. But he said, and I took this story because it's good to hear this positive, narrative about our military. And he just prayed for them. They prayed for them. They prayed for their safety and just appreciating, the sacrifice that they make. He says that there are some people in this nation that we do not give enough credit to. The soldiers, the paramilitary, the police. We're supposed to constantly commit them into the hand of God. The Almighty God will watch over them. He will take care of their families in the morning, in the afternoon, and at night. Yeah. God will support them, fight their battles, and make them more than conquerors all the time. Amen.
Talking about Jesus, so the founder of the Living Faith Church, Bishop David Oyedepo, said that he has never spoken on behalf of any political party. And this was following the leaked audio between him and the LP presidential candidate Peter Obi that leaked, where he was talking to Bishop Oyedepo. And specifically, he said, "I have never campaigned for anybody or spoken on anybody's behalf, and I would not do that till I go to heaven." He says, "There is no political party in this country that didn't come to me for prayers and advice. I advised them, some didn't take it. Those who chose to take it saw the results. Those who said no are still going about it. But if you still come again, I will still tell you it doesn't change." That he maintains that, yes, every political party did come to talk to him, but he did not, and he would not support any specific political party. This is following all the allegations concerning this leaked audio. Let's move on now to the point. Tougher times ahead as Nigeria's debt portfolio breaks limits. Governor Umahi to pay 40 years pension gratuity arrears to Ebonyi retirees. Adeleke Aregbesol's sudden romance unsettles Oyetola's camp. Ayu's many battles as PDP national chairman. And Nigerian Forex bargain hunting wipes 18. Look, my Nigerian Stock Exchange actually bargaining hunting wipes 18 billion naira off investors assets. Okay.
Yes, so Governor David Umahi of Ebonyi State has said his administration is ready to pay 40 years pensions and gratuity arrears to retirees in the state. He said the beneficiaries were particularly the outstanding pensioners who have been verified for payment between 1982 and November 2022. So he spoke through the Commissioner for Information and State Orientation, Uchenna Oji, and he said that the administration has been committed to paying people for the past 8 years now, and he's ready to pay the total amount, which amounts to 4,243,348,571 naira 21 kobo. That will be paid to the outstanding pensioners. I'm looking forward to a time where you don't have to wait for a very long time, yes, to start doing this process of verifying yourself again after you've done work. So once you're retiring or resigning as someone who has served your state, your pension should be running.
Why is Abia State not on the pension scheme? Why is this pension payment?
Anyways, I have to take this last story. NDLA declares prophetess and others wanted for illicit drugs. So the NDLA has declared a Port Harcourt, Rivers State-based popular prophetess and founder of a church. They didn't tell us the name. Another person, Faith, her surname was withheld. A celebrity couple, Igo and Danielle, surname also withheld, wanted for allegedly recruiting teenage girls into drug trafficking while they serve as the arrowheads of an international syndicate operating from Los Angeles, USA. The leader was blown off the cartel when NDLA operatives at the narco import shed of the Murtala Airport intercepted a consignment of 32.7 kg of loud, a strong variant of cannabis concealed in cartons of used wares. This is really, really pathetic. But